We saw yesterday that we can add, subtract, multiply, and divide different functions the same way that we can do those operations with regular numbers. There's one other operation we can do with functions, and that's called function composition. To show you what function composition is, let's use these two functions, f of x equals x squared plus x minus 6, and g of x equals x minus 2. My problem says this: find f, this little circle here, okay, this is supposed to be an open circle too, if you can't tell, kind of like an O, composed of g of negative 2. And this symbol means composition, okay? And I'll just write that symbol a little bit bigger here. Composition symbol. Okay. It's just, again, so you can tell that that really is an open circle. This function composition really means I need to find g of negative 2 first, and then plug it into f. So again, we find g of negative 2 first. And if you remember your function notation, g of negative 2 means I need to take negative 2 and plug it into my equation. G of negative 2 would equal negative 2 minus 2, which is negative 4. So that's what this little underlined piece is in my problem. So now I find f of negative 4. So I take negative 4 squared plus negative 4 minus 6. Okay. Negative 4 squared is 16 minus 4 minus 6. 16 minus 4 is 12, minus 6 is 6. So f composed with g of negative 2 is 6. Now we also could find what f composed with g of x means, okay? So this means the same thing as this. These two parts mean the same thing, okay? A lot of times I think this is a little bit easier to look at because that can kind of help us figure out that this inside piece is what we need to do first, okay? So I'd find g of x, which is this whole function x minus 2, and plug it into f. So this whole function goes into function f here. We have x minus 2 all gets squared plus x minus 2 and then minus 6. So everywhere there's an x, this whole function goes x minus 2. X minus 2 squared plus x minus 2 minus 6. And then if we wanted to simplify this, we could multiply out x minus 2 squared, remembering x minus 2 squared means x minus 2 times x minus 2. And then plus x minus 2 minus 6. Simplify what we can. X squared, this is the only place I have an x squared. Minus 3x. 4 minus 2 is 2. Minus 6 is negative 4. So f of g of x, or f composed with g of x, is x squared minus 3x minus 4.